The core concept of the movie Tenet is inversion, a technology that reverses time. Unlike traditional time travel, this concept has left many viewers confused. Surprisingly, the origin of this idea can be traced back 80 years to 1943 by scientist Erwin Schrodinger. How was he able to imagine such a concept so early? Let's math travel. Inversion reverses time, similar to playing a video in reverse. However, inversion doesn't actually reverse time itself, because time is just measurable, but not a tangible object that can be turned forward or backward like clock hands. Inversion reverses the direction of entropy. Mathematically speaking, it creates negative entropy. Did you know that negative entropy is referred to as negentropy or netropy? In the end, inversion is a technology that generates netropy. The term negative entropy already appeared in this book, published in 1943. The title was What is Life? The author was Erwin Schrodinger, the physicist famously associated with Schrodinger's cat. He wrote like this. He was explaining what life is, and in this sentence, it refers to living organism. He said that living organism feeds on negative entropy in order to maintain their low entropy level. He interpreted eating food as consuming negative entropy. Quite a unique perspective, isn't it? We first need to understand entropy. Here are the representative formulas for entropy. This one comes from thermodynamics, and this one from statistical mechanics. Which formula was Schrodinger's idea based on? It is this one. In his book, he expressed entropy this way. He wrote D instead of W, but they are essentially the same. This formula was introduced at the end of the 19th century by the Austrian physicist Ludwig Boltzmann. This is entropy. This is the Boltzmann constant. W corresponds to the number of ways in probability an event can occur. Throw 10 coins. You could get all heads, or 5 heads and 5 tails. What's the number of ways to get all heads? It's 1, because all coins must show heads. Then, what's the number of ways to get 5 heads and 5 tails? It's the same as the number of ways to choose 5 coins out of 10, where those coins show heads. Since order doesn't matter, it's a combination, not a permutation. It's this. This is much larger than that. This is why, when you throw coins, you are more likely to get a mixture of heads and tails. W represents the number of ways an event or state can occur. Look at both sides of the formula. Entropy is proportional to the number of ways. So, when the number of ways is small, entropy is low. Like when all 10 coins show heads. It's a more ordered state. When the number of ways is large, entropy is high. Like when heads and tails are mixed. It's a more disordered state. That's why entropy is described as the degree of disorder. Heat only flows from high to low, and as it does, the entropy of the universe increases. It's impossible to return to the previous state. This is the direction in which the universe evolves, and our perception of this change is what we call time. That's why time flows from the past through the present to the future. The universe moves towards more likely states, which means more disorder. This is why Schrodinger expressed W as D, which stands for disorder. Now, let's talk about negative entropy. Schrodinger noticed that there are entities in the universe that seem to defy each other, living organisms. Why? Since the increase of entropy is a fundamental law, everything in the universe should become more disordered over time. But what about living organisms? They seem to maintain or even enhance their level of order. Their entropy remains the same or decreases. They go against the law of the universe. How can this be? To explain this, Schrodinger came up with the concept of negative entropy. Just like adding -3 plus 3 equals 0, negative entropy could offset the increase in entropy. To him, this negative entropy was equivalent to food. To eat is to consume negative entropy. So we said that living organism feeds on negative entropy. He even presented a formula for negative entropy. It's the entropy formula multiplied by a negative sign. The left side represents negative entropy. On the right side, there's a logarithm. Apply this rule of logarithms. The right side transforms into this. It's the reciprocal of this order d. So it represents the degree of order. Negative entropy is the degree of order, the exact opposite of entropy. As a scientist, Schrodinger was very familiar with positive and negative numbers. It was natural for him to imagine the opposite of any phenomenon he observed. When he saw positive entropy, he could naturally think of negative entropy, all thanks to the simple concept of positive and negative numbers. It allowed him to imagine and express negative entropy in a formula, and this negative entropy led to the imagination behind the movie Tenet. Thank you so much for watching.